Hello and welcome to a Mafex review of Batman from Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is Mafex number 222. It's in a black and white, mostly black and white box because I guess Justice League had a black and white release. I'm going to compare it to this one, which is 017, at the very early days of Mafex, the Batman from BVS. If you want to check out a video that I did, one of the earlier figures, which is the BVS Wonder Woman, that was really bad. So we can see how far their Batmans and figures in general have advanced since they started licensing and releasing DC comic book figures. And I am quite excited for James Gunn's new DCU, and some of the suit designs actually look like the new Superman look. And so hopefully Mafex will continue with that. As with all Mafexes, they come with this stand, so there's a new one, but the new one's still taped to the back of the tray, whereas I untaped the old one. And new figures also all come with this little certificate thing, telling you, hey, there's a sticker on the box. You can scan it with your phone, QR code, and to see if this is a legitimate product or not. These QR codes are not unique, so... Right, so in terms of accessories, apart from the fist already on the figure, we have... well, at least for the new one, we have Batarang holding hands, relaxed hands, and spray open hands. Well, sort of relaxes for holding his little bat grapple. And with this one, we have extra hands. On the old figure, we also have these finger pointing hands as well as a pair of hands to hold onto this giant rifle thing, which I can't remember what it's for. That's the kryptonite gun, right? And we also have this flashbang. We only have one Batarang, whereas the new one has 3 Batarangs. Both of them come to back grapple. It looks like some of it is similar, but they are different. We'll take a closer look in a moment. But the new one also comes with 3 extra heads, one being a Ben Affleck head, which is pretty awesome. We take a look at the Batarangs here. The older one is more silver, whereas this one is more metallic. The molding is also much sharper. If you compare the Batarangs, the old one is much more silver, whereas the new one actually looks metallic, and the old one is a bit more blurry and gummy feeling, whereas the new one is very sharp plastic. Comparing the grapple guns, the new one is, the handle seems to be the same, the lower bar seems to be the same, but attachments are in different places. Oh, that comes out, whereas the old one doesn't have that, so it's mostly the same mold, but the paint detailings are slightly different, and the top attachment here is also slightly different. So the old one has all these grapples still attached there, and you cannot put that in the gun, whereas this one, they have one detached, and you cannot plug that back in here. So he either has one or he has one in the chamber already. The extra faces we have here, we have our Gur face, our face, and the eyes are painted pretty good. A little bit hard to see in this camera, but they are quite clear. And this Ben Affleck head is spot on. It looks right, and it comes with a neck, so it actually looks like he has the cowl off, so it doesn't have a black neck when you swap the heads. Putting these two figures side by side, the new one is a little bit taller, and the upper torso is also way thicker. Just like he should. He's really bulky in these movies, so that would make sense. Another biggest difference is that the skin color is much better on the newer one. The old one looks like he's got a bit of a liver problem. Now, I don't have a bootleg, but there are bootlegs out there of this, and the way you can tell that it's a bootleg is you just look at the arm or some other plastic runoffs. There's a lot of extra plastic on the cutting and molding. Like, he looks very rough, and the bootleg also falls apart a lot easier than the official one, even though Mafex has had a lot of problems with joints falling off, but the bootlegs are way worse. Other differences include the coloring of the suit. This one's much more grey, whereas the new one's much more of a darker bluish grey. You can see that the gauntlet's also a bit different. The stitch lines on the suit are still in similar places because, the new suit is based on the older suit. The cowl is much more defined and actually does look more like Ben Affleck's cowl, whereas the old one looks a little bit soft, a little bit gummy, but it still looks good for its time. It's just, the new one's better. And we move down there, the belts I think are the same molds, but the new one does look a bit sharper than the older one. The gloves and the hands seem to be the same mold. I think the new one's is slightly bigger. But anyway, the chrome tips are painted better than the old one. Same as the old one has like little golden tips on the boots, while this new one has a little bit of silver tips. Another thing is that the capes are inserted in the same places. It looks like the lower piece here is the same mold, but the new one has this sort of fake leathery look on the outside and a cloth bit on the inside. and they're both attached to the front of the body, so you can sort of get a cover the shoulder look for Batman. The old one, you can also do that, but it has a more shinier cloth look, which does not look as accurate as the new one. I remember that this one was better than the SHF, but the SHF Wonder Woman was better than the Mafex one, which is really annoying because they're both slightly different scales, but I was trying to just get the best version of each. And Figuarts also had a really good Deathstroke, they had a really good Harley Quinn, whereas Mafex was sort of stumbling, they had some good ones, some weird ones, and so did Bandai. So I have a mix of both Figuarts and Mafex Justice League members. So articulation with this guy, head swapping gimmick. Oh, he's got dumbbell joint in there, but double neck joint. A little bit up, quite a lot down, because brooding head. Sideways, sideways. And then it also goes quite far back. Careful when you go forward, because it's got these armor plates there that stop the articulation, so you gotta like sort of nudge it out the way. And it's sort of a push-up, sit-up. Butterfly joints here work quite well. Arm goes up. So far, full rotation here, double elbow joint, but it gets stuck because of the muscles, and it's on a peg and swivel just like the old one, but yeah, and it doesn't move too well. You gotta pull it out just a little bit, but it's stiff enough that it doesn't fall out. Leg goes down, forward, back, sideways, rotating joint a little bit. Oh, double knee joint looks quite nice and can bend quite well. Foot up, down, toe up, little bit. Foot goes, rotates. Does it go sideways? A little bit. Okay. The old one was a huge improvement over my SH Figuarts, and this new one is just much better. We are taking a look at two figures that are almost 10 years apart, and I am glad there are improvements. Subtle improvements here and there, but all very welcome. And I'm also glad the new one, we have a Ben Affleck head instead of just some random accessories. It's really nice. You know, people like collecting figures with unmasked faces these days, and I'm so glad that it's here, and the likeness is also really good. So I'm going to be retiring the old one, setting that off, and while keeping the new one. I am so much happy with this one. I also like the colors a lot more. It's a bit more subtle, the darker colors, and I also like the cape a bit more. I just like this one so much better, with better proportions, great articulation, but I'm still really surprised how well the articulation has survived and the joints and grip has survived with the old one after all these years, because that was one of the biggest problems with Mafex. Now his right leg is a little bit on the looser side, but it's still good enough, so yay for the new one. And these are probably some of the last like big premium merchandises we're gonna get for this movie for a while, because you know it's like a final rush. Even with McFarlane and DC Multiverse, the new DCU is coming soon. So if you like the DCEU's design, that's one of the things that people, even if they don't like the movies they like, then go ahead and get this figure. Subscribe, suggest, and comment below, because take care, have a nice day. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye now.